Hello, my name is Ryan Bailey, co-founder and CEO of MyLi, and we optimize what matters. So a little bit about us: we're an AI development firm that accelerates sales cycles, optimize business processes, and drives strategic decisions with our innovation intelligence platform, Dendron. Today, we're going to be talking about how we work with AI growth companies, where we help them accelerate sales, as well as scaling their human-machine teams rapidly. But with that, let's jump into Dendron. So setting the stage, this is one of the companies we work with. They're a healthcare AI company. Generally, what they do is they create secure, smart data packages that automatically assemble all the documentation insurance companies need for prior authorizations. Into that, we're going to be going through an instance of how they ended up working with hospital. So setting the stage a little bit further, to add context, so how they leverage Dendron to show the pain point of what their innovation can solve based upon what prior authorization crisis that's going on within hospitals. Particularly, you'll see me describe one in the orthopedic side of this regional healthcare network. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So the hospital will be referring to their regional health network, focused healthcare system operating 18 hospitals. Their orthopedic service line is one of their largest and performs 8,500 procedures annually, including joint replacements, spine surgeries, and sports medicine. They're a very large organization, 10,000 plus. And with that, the person we interviewed was the director of surgical services revenue cycle. That they oversaw revenue cycle operations specifically for surgical service lines, particularly focus on orthopedic prior authorizations, managed team responsibilities for surgical scheduling, pre-authorizations, insurance verification, denial management, and other orthopedic procedures. They report to the VP of revenue cycle and directly accountable for 285 million in annual orthopedic services revenue while ensuring surgical schedule optimization and physician satisfaction. So the first pain point, our orthopedic service line processes 2,500 plus prior authorization requests monthly, requiring 8 dedicated staff members, costing $650,000 annually just in our orthopedic PA processing. They're currently experiencing average delays of 7.2 days for routine joint replacement and 5.1 days for spinal procedures, forcing rescheduling of 180 plus surgeries monthly. So on top of their operational issues, they also have their top performing orthopedic surgeons having threatened to leave due to PA frustration or attritions, and our surgical block utilization has dropped 18% due to last minute cancellations. And that's it for those pain points. Now let's get into the technology stack. So they use Cerner PowerChart for EHR documentation. They use CoverMeds for electronic submissions where available. They use fax. Yes, they use fax. And then they use phone as well. And the last one, for scheduling, they use Epic Opt. For regulatory requirements, obviously, a few in this case in healthcare. Obviously, CMS prior authorization rules, HIPAA, and Florida state regulations. Their orthopedic service line has specific commission requirements for surgical scheduling and patient safety protocols. They participate in CMS bundled payment programs where PA delays directly impact our episode-based reimbursement. They have a very large budget to solve this issue, and they need it done in 3 to 6 months. So with that, just did the assessment of who is the person, the business scenario, pain points, the technology stacks within that process where the pain points are occurring, regulatory requirements, then we're collecting budget and timeline. And now we're going to be heading into iterative mapping, where we'll talk about that here shortly. So here's the process map in that context that Dendron came up with. So Dendron, based on what was given around the 2,500 monthly prior authorization requests and integration in their technology stack that's described here, talks through the initial nodes. So I guess I can take you through that while I read them. So initial 4 nodes, referral through insurance verification using existing systems. Node 5, authorization decision point. This is the critical determination of whether the PA is required, which drives much of your workflow complexity. Submission and follow-up nodes 6 to 12. Your current mix of CoverMeds, electronic system, manual fax processes, including tracking and follow-up that's consuming significant staff time. So you can see they did a really pretty good job here. Gather clinical documentation, submit requests via CoverMeds if supported, submit PA requests via fax phone if CoverMeds isn't there. We've been capturing that from the context, mapping that out very well. Log PA requests in the tracking system, wait for insurance for response, averages 5 to 7 days, follow up on pending PA requests. If no, continue the follow-up. If yes, PA response is received. Yes, PA response denied. And I think we can keep going down. So approval and denial management. So that's what we're getting. PA approved or denied. Downstream impacts, including monthly 180 plus surgery rescheduling, student appeal process, and denial. So it did a really good job here, actually. So notify the surgeon if it's improved. They go through Epic Op time and the procedure is completed, monitor for bundle and payment compliance. So you can kind of see that got consolidated, as the majority of the problem is that we're following going in here is all in that prior authorization process. Not to say that other process can't be mapped out. This process is, as it comes to play, but really honing in on where the actual problem exists. So if that PA is denied, review denial reasoning, clinical documentation, appeal of denial or modified procedure, appeal, submit PA appeal with additional documentation, modify, notify surgeon to modify procedure approach. Both of these get sent back up top. So return for a waiting period, getting back in front of the insurance for that appeal, and then resubmit with modified procedure, coming all the way back up here to gather required clinical documentation and going through that process from there. So it did a really good job with that. We're going to move forward. Great. Let's move forward. Awesome. So you can see here, we are at the data collection phase. For here, you can see that I can select each node, edit granular information within it. So for instance, at this patient referral received by orthopedic procedure, how long does that step take? Who's responsible? What's their wage? Technology they're using? Technology cost? The frequency of occurrence and error rates. You can see that it does this all the way down. So based on the context, based upon our data, and based upon what is known in these general processes, we can pre-fill out a lot of these areas where businesses come in and then make it theirs. Definitely an area that gets edited a lot is the hourly wage, as every business has something a little bit different there. Generally gets the roles right. So you can see PA specialist here, verifying coverage, going to an insurance verification specialist, going back to a clinical PA specialist, using the same technology. You can see leveraging it all the way down to where we get these decision points where if it's not covered by meds, using fax or using phone, a really good job there. And you can see here, implementing the wait time on both of these. I think it did it. Yeah. So has that 5 to 7 day wait time integrated. It zeroes out the hourly wage so that it doesn't compute. Very cool. This looks really good. We're going to accept this and move forward. It looks like it's capturing even the error rates. Awesome. So let's accept this and move forward. Makes it relatable between the process map, which allows us to leverage our calculations on the back end and come up with a very sophisticated analysis near real time. So as we get there, I'll talk a little bit more about that. Great. So now we're at the analysis step. So we have start up with, generally what is the improvement potential, identifying that around 35% improvement potential for this entire process. And then also creating, these efficiency gains that you're seeing down below, where the current process is at, where it could be in terms of efficiency, technology integration, where it's at and where it could be. Goes through critical process bottlenecks. So that long insurance wait time, causing 98% of the total process time, higher error rates, 25% in fax-based PA submissions requiring rework, duplicate data entry in the Center Power Chart and Cover My Meds platform. Follow-up processes consuming 35 minutes per case daily. So with that, kind of talking about where the company is at in terms of average technology integration, potential and process maturity, what they could look at in terms of cost, potential savings, and return on investment timeline. And then we go into top improvement areas, clinical documentation, gathering for process automation, insurance response times reductions through API integration, technology platform consolidation to reduce redundancy, and its appeal process flow optimization. From here, we have the overall upstream analysis. This is where you can identify these high waste points within the process. So you can see here total time, and then the non-value adding time, which we go back to at wait time with the actual phone interaction or getting the response from the insurance company, and then value added time. So that 385 that you're actually getting value for the client, and then the total costs of that cycle. So with that, it goes down through and gives you a pretty good look at what your technology integration levels, considering the technology stack reported, do this from an adoption, scalability, automation, autonomy standpoint. And then we do a technology cost analysis as well as a tech cost and value added area. So technology spend of 50 plus per user monthly on Cerner Power Chart shows poor ROI due to manual processes. High cost systems are underutilized for automation capabilities, while lower cost back systems create disproportionate rework costs. So here, we got to see that a lot was identified here in terms of, potential cost savings and return on. So after going through this analysis, you can kind of see how quickly the healthcare AI company was able to kind of talk through where their product is applicable to the actual healthcare or hospital that they're integrating with or selling to. In this case, was valuable in getting the point across. All right. So what I ended up doing here was I let Dendron be aware of the actual implementation and how it affects analysis. So with that, now we have an updated analysis on the integration of this client's product. And if you recall, that product is where they create secure smart data packages that automatically assemble all the documentation insurance companies need for prior authorizations. So in this case, how you're seeing kind of where that analysis is brought to if that implementation is done. You can see it's still trying to improve it. So same thing up top with process efficiency, technology integration, really saying where it can take it to in the future. So we can also see how the technology integration levels and process maturity has now been heightened due to the sophistication and both the simplicity and sophistication of the actual implementation. The cost savings are actually much higher, around $500,000 per year. You can go through here, this integration with the existing Cerner Pro Chart workflow in a top improvement area, staff training on automated documentation assembly. So we still have a large total time. Again, this is after the implementation as well. Technology cost analysis. So the implementation provides excellent ROI by eliminating 67% of manual labor costs while improving submission success rates. The platform's scoring method, standardized data formats directly address the highest cost drivers of the current workflow. So again, this is where you can see how directly implementing somebody's solution into this workflow of pain, large pain for this company, both from a surgeon, patient, and cost and efficiency or time standpoint, is dramatically solving all these pain points simultaneously. With that, I'm kind of going to stop there. After this, we kind of go into implementation a little too detailed, but really what we're trying to get across here is, if you have an AI growth company, a growth company that's selling a platform, consider leveraging Dendron as improve those sales cycles and consolidate them by 80%. Next time I want to do another vertical. Take it easy.